Arena Breakout Infinite. You finally got access to this beta. You hopped in. Well, there are some items that you should pick up and some items that you definitely shouldn't. So I've put together a list of some of the 1 and 2 slot items which will do you a favor picking up when you're in raid, and sometimes you might know what to pick over something else. Well, these here are some of the most valuable uncommon items you can get in this game to sell on the market to other players. Starting off, we got stamps here, guys. Something a lot of people will just brush over. Picking up the stamps in this one will actually net you at least 4,000. Now it depends when you're playing this game, as you might have different prices than me at the time, so just be aware of that. But these are things that you should look out for. Weapon parts are quite uncommon, but when you do find them, make sure you pick them up. They're worth almost as much as a new gun is itself. Safety cords, a single slot item, very easy to get in quite a lot of places, and very good profit to pick up. Now 2,000 right now is actually quite low. It was about 3,000 or 4,000 just now, so make sure you pick these up. These are really good for making a lot of money. Receivers, signal jammers, gunpowder especially, I think these are all double slot items, so just remember that when you pick these up, they are double slot items, but they are definitely worth picking up, especially the gunpowder, as people do need that for a quest. Now the other one is here, one that everyone looks over, is the lamp. It's 4,000 here for a lamp, which is a 2 slot item, as well as the hose, about 1,500 per hose, and they're single slots. So make sure you pick those up because they are really good money early game, especially if you've gone into a raid, you've just died with your gear and you're going in back into normal mode and you're looking to make more money. Broken LCDs, another double slot item worth over 5,000. That can net you a decent little profit, as well as the semiconductors and floppy disks from computers. Make sure you pick these up. They're really good items and they're uncommon. A lot of people look over the floppy disk because it looks like a DVD player from Tarkov, and a lot of people don't pick those up. The D-size batteries are a single slot, very good money, especially that, and the UV lamps as well, really good money. Single slot items here, guys. Safety hammer is another one. People kind of tend to look over these. Make sure you pick these ones up here. We'll make a little list, leave it up on your side screen. I'll put these into a little list for you to look at to make sure you can see them at all times. Now moving on to the other ones, we've got power banks, tools, toolboxes, and high power flashlights, all worth a decent amount of money. The MP tools was a little bit more than this earlier, but it is still worth about 2,000 for a single slot item. Very worth picking up. If you're looting computers here, the power bank is a decent one to pick up, and there are definitely things we're about to go through soon, so stick around, of things that you shouldn't be picking up. Now another one people really quickly brush over is the tweed and the cotton cloth. Pick these up. These are worth a lot of money. They are double slots, but they are worth picking up, as well as the camping lantern, which varies between 2,500 to 5,000 as well. Now when it comes to looting medical items, the syringes and the medical items cases are really good to pick up. Both single slot items, and the medical items case is actually a quest item that people need, so make sure you pick these up because they are definitely worth a single slot in your inventory to sell later. And then down here we've got the multimeter, as well as the wave filter, normally found in computers. A DVD player, looks a bit more like a VCR player, card reader, mobile phone, and documents. All these electronic items here, they're all worth picking up. Most of them are single slot except for the documents and the DVD, I believe. So make sure you pick these up, guys, because these are really good ones to make sure you've got. Now we're going to go through from the bottom here in the miscellaneous selection. We're going to go all the way from the bottom of the electronics and look at the things we shouldn't be picking up, guys. Here in the electronics, you've got a few things like the fuses. They do not need picking up. They're not really worth the money. Everything else here is actually not a bad price for electronics, so you can profit quite a lot off them. Just remember the double slot items like the classic radio, not really worth picking up for 1,500, and the machine there, depending on what you've got in your bag, it's not really worth it either. Now we're going to skip past the boss tokens because there's nothing really in there for us except for the 2 gold items, and move on to the military items here. And as we load this one up, you're going to see here weapon parts, like we mentioned before, safety cords among the highest of the ones to pick up. I wouldn't recommend picking up the military canteen, mainly because it's only 1,500 and it is a double slot as well. The filter canister, if you're lacking on things, this and the military compass, they are 1 slot, but they're only 1,000 each. The receiver, as we mentioned before, and this one, they're pretty good money. I haven't actually seen one of these whistles yet myself, so I don't know what their like loot drop rate is, but they are worth 2,300 at present. So they are worth picking up. There are also a few purple items you'll see here which actually aren't worth picking up as much as you think they are, like the radio, because they're not actually going to get you as much as some of the single slot items, which is quite surprising. And moving over to the instruments in this section, guys, you can see here some of the ones we mentioned. Now the ones not to pick up here, the rectifier, unless you're desperate for loot and you've got space for it, this one's only worth 1,000. It is a single slot, but it's not really necessary when you've got other items that could net you a lot more money. Now, the paper you've got to really watch out for. As you probably know from picking up paper, they're not really worth picking up at all, especially that desk calendar. Don't pick that up. Put it back in the drawer where you found it. Throw it on the floor. Make sure no one ever picks this up. It is just not worth it. The notebook, you need to pick these up for one quest, but other than that, don't even touch them. The hardcover, it's not really worth it either. I believe that's a 2 slot, so it's just not worth touching. The only one really worth grabbing is documents here. This is about 5,000, which I haven't actually seen many of, only a couple. They will be quite rare, but they are uncommon items. Now, as for the collectibles, guys, there's not too many that aren't purple here. The spur is for a quest, otherwise I wouldn't touch it. The stamps, the silver badges, they're probably worth taking because it is a single slot, and the stamp is definitely worth taking. I believe it's for a trade, so make sure you pick that up as well. Moving into the medical items, as we brushed up on before, guys, the syringe and the medical items case are probably worth the most. H2O being a single slot is actually a pretty good one to get, so make sure you pick those up if you have nothing else to grab, but do not grab the NaCl because it's just not worth the money at all. The sponges as well, not really worth picking up. Disinfectant maybe, scissors not so much. A lot of these aren't worth it. The drug nebulizer, definitely worth picking up if you can find it, but they are quite rare as well. The glucose, not really worth it. I believe that's a single slot, but it's still not really worth picking up when you have other things to carry. Now, this is one of the bigger ones, guys. This is something you'll come across a lot of these when you're playing the game, and you'll be sat there wondering what is the best thing to pick up when I'm trying to sort through my loot. Now, you can see here soap, the clog remover, the bleach is not too bad, the surface cleaner is okay, the insecticide's a big no-no. The toilet paper is the worst one of the lot. Don't pick up the toilet paper. You do not need it. Never pick up toilet paper. The shampoo's not bad, but I believe it's 2 slot. And the only real good one here is the UV lamp, as well as the tweed and the cotton cloth here. The linen's not really worth picking up. It's a 2 slot, and only for that much. It's not really worth it. The chemical fibers, I would probably pick up these 3, the cotton cloth, tweed, and chemical fiber as your cloths. They are double slots, so they do break down the price not as well as you would hope. But looking down the rest of them, some of them are just not worth picking up unless there's a trade you want to go for. If you want to see trades, guys, what things to pick up for trades, that's in another video. Make sure you go check that out. But as you can see here, and aside from the purple stuff, it's not really worth picking up anything but the ones we mentioned previously. And we move on into the tools. And again, there's not too much in the tools here that you want to be picking up, except for a couple of the items. The toolbox is worth something, and you actually need one for an extract at some point. So you can hold on to those. They're probably the best thing here. But the things like the wrench, the measuring tape, the screwdriver, the bolt cutters, none of them are really worth picking up. The pipe wrenches are 2 slots, not worth picking up. Same with the MP tools. It's okay. I have put that one down because it's a single slot and it's the only real tool that was any good, as well as the safety hammer. Otherwise, guys, I probably wouldn't pick up too many of these. The high power flashlight, I haven't actually seen any of these myself, so they are worth a bit, but I haven't seen them anywhere. Moving into the energy items, things to pick up. D-size batteries, they're a single slot. They're 1,500. It's probably the best thing you can get out of here, and the power bank. Otherwise, I would probably leave the normal batteries and the foam batteries alone, because you probably just won't need to grab those at all. They're just not worth the single slot that you're going to be putting them in. And moving into the computer parts, guys, as we head up to the top of this list of miscellaneous here, you can see flash drives in this game are not worth picking up. The semiconductors, otherwise, on the other hand, are very much worth picking up. Floppy drives, very good as well. Don't pick up the display cables or the heat sinks. And looking at the top here, the writing pad isn't too bad, and the LCD is very good. And it's probably not worth picking up a power cable, CPU fan, capacitors, or circuit boards, as they do take up probably too much space in your inventory. The last one's up on the list here. We've got the building materials. This is another thing which people think, do I pick up bolts because they're worth a lot in Tarkov? Well, no, they're not worth anything here. 402 at the moment right now. The nuts, even worse, only 100. The tape, not worth picking up. This is something I'd been picking up because on Tarkov it was worth something decent. Same with the bolts and nuts. None of these are worth picking up. Don't bother grabbing any of them. The hoses are probably the only ones that are any good here. Nails are no good. All the things you think in Tarkov will be good, they're not good to pick up in this game. So make sure you don't pick them up. Probably recommend out of these slots the cable and the hose, and maybe the WRP tape if you're desperate. But I think everything else, even the silicon tube, is a 2 slot. It's not worth picking up. And these ones are 4 slots as well. It's just not worth you picking them up and using up your space to grab them. So make sure, we'll go back through the ones you should be picking up soon. You can see here matches, not worth picking up. Lighters, because there is a quest for a lighter, it is up a little bit more than normal. That is kind of worth picking up. The lamp is a 2 slot, so yeah, you can go for picking that one up. No good for the candles. Blue gunpowder is not worth it. It's too common, but the green and red gunpowder are worth picking up if you can find it. They are 2 slots as well. The rest of these things here, as you can see, purple guys and a gold one, they're probably worth picking up. They are quite big. That's what you got to watch out for with a lot of the purple items. Now going back here to finish this one up, guys, on the things you should be picking up. Now you can take a look at this list. I'll write in the description of this video all of these items here that you can see now. Make sure you take a note of the items, leave the video up and pause so you can see all of the ones sing or take screenshots here. These are some of the most important items, the smallest ones that are worth the most money. I've looked through several times, and picking up these in particular have started making me a lot more money than I was before, because I was really struggling with money at one point. That's it for me for this video, guys. If you found this one helpful, please give us a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.